Tell us why you're at Story Expo 2015 today.
We're at Story Expo because we're looking for storytellers. We've spent the last 20 months building a software program that breaks down story elements like people, places, and things as essentially Lego bricks of storytelling. And it reassigns them or creates an interactive story game. It's like ebook meets video game.
And the name is?
The name is called One More Story Games, and the software itself is called Story Stylus. So Stylus being the very first writing implement of man, and it's also the most high-tech implement these days. So, yeah.
Nice. And so is this game geared toward people hoping to write then a story out of the game, or it's just more for getting comfortable with words and building characters, things like that?
You know what? We envision people using it in a lot of different ways. So one way somebody could use it is to prototype a film or a video game or a novel and just use it for their own personal, sort of getting that sense of what that world looks like. Or somebody might want to do a 5 or 10 minute teaser of a web series or a novel to say, hey, listen, here's the world that I've created. Or if somebody wants to create a saleable game, so maybe it's 30 minutes long and it gets sold for $1, we pay them royalties, they can create content that gets sold through our distribution channels. So there's a lot of different ways that storytellers can use our engine.
And so it's for desktop and mobile, I'm assuming?
Yes, so
okay.
Right now the engine itself, Story Stylus, is available on PCs, and we're moving into Mac development in the next couple of weeks.
And so now, do you need an aggregator? I'm just thinking of film distribution, and how does it work with games?
Okay, so when you have used the Story Stylus to create your game, it gets displayed onto our web browser. Well, not our web browser. Google's, you know what I mean. It gets displayed onto a web browser, and also currently it goes into Android tablet. And we'll be developing for the iPads as well, so people can play that on multiple channels. And they can also play it on Facebook in a couple of weeks.
Now, you said briefly when we were setting up that people tend to write a lot about erotic fiction. Can you talk about that?
Oh, okay. Well, I think a lot of people don't realize that women make up almost 50% of people who game. They might not call themselves gamers, so maybe they're playing Candy Crush or Farmville or those other kind of casual social games. They also like to play games that are mystery-oriented. And what's more popular are romance. So romance books are actually second only to children's books. So we're also open to people who want to write interactive romance and interactive erotica. We think that because you have people who love books, books are about storytelling. So why not bring the casual games and books together and create interactive story games? And something that's popular, like the 50 Shades series, somebody could create that and do very well for themselves on our platform.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, they're creating a game that becomes like an app. Is that right, sort of?
It kind of lives within our app, so we're going to be the digital curators. There's a lot of noise in the games industry right now. You have, there's so many games that get published on a daily basis, and the app stores are not curating that content. It's just a flood. So we're developing a community of reviewers, and they're the ones that are going to say, you know what, this is really great. This needs a little bit of tweaking. This is not believable. So that when you download our app or go to our website, the content that is there is curated for you. And you could say, you know what, I spend my $1, I felt really good about spending that $1.
What is the average engagement time? And I'm probably not using the right word, but in terms of I'm just thinking back to video games, you could maybe go to 10 different levels.
Yeah, we envision the most popular web game to be probably in the 30-minute, because people want just like a quick little lunch bite game. So they're either playing the game on their lunch hour or they're playing just as they're falling asleep at night. They don't want something that's epically long. However, if somebody wants to write an epically long thing, they can. Or better yet, they can use our engine to create serialized content. So maybe in week 1, it's 3 chapters and the story continues. And you're going to say, you know what, I really enjoyed that. I want to continue that with that content creator.
Now you said you do stand-up comedy at some time?
In a former
In a
lifetime,
former life,
I was
okay.
a stand-up comedian.
I love
So
it.
if you get me after 9 o'clock at night with a few drinks, I may change your perspective on Cookie Monster forever.
Are there people that do things that have maybe a little more humor, sarcasm? Are there like comedy-based writing?
We're fairly new, so
Okay.
we don't have a lot of comedic content on there right now. We've got some like, what do we have? We have a cyberpunk mystery that's coming out. We have a couple of your traditional cozy mysteries, so whodunits. I was trying to convince our writer to do a romantic comedy of Romeo and Juliet, just to show people that they could have fun with it. It's a pretty classic story,
Sure.
and just why not have a twist on it? You know, this thing where he can never get up the balcony and she doesn't want to be rescued. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing what people create with the engine.